Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Roger Clark, Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, Minister of State is not really here, but he has tendered his apology. Mr. Donovan Stanbury, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries. Dr. Pantan, Mark Pantan, Chief Technical Director in the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries. Our Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Al Powell of the Rural Agricultural Development Authority. Mr. Bernard Goff, Zonal Director of Western Zone. Mrs. Lucille Bradba, National Coordinator for the Jamaica Emergency Employment Program, JEEP. RADA Regional Works Engineers, distinguished parish agricultural managers, specialists, other distinguished invited guests from the Ministry of Agriculture and RADA, Mr. Stephen Henriquez, Marketing Manager for Kingston Industrial Agency. Ladies and gentlemen, pleasant afternoon. We are here not because we want to assemble in this fashion and achieve nothing, but we are here because we want to support our people and by extension and to achieve something. And by way of creating opportunities for our people, that is why we are here, to help to unlock the potential and latent energies that resides in our people to generate wealth. And as we speak of energy, my mind reflects on Albert Einstein. His interest was in physics and mathematics, and is one of the scientists of the 21st century or 18th century. He began his career at a very early age. His father gave him a compass at the age of 5. His teachers believed he had little scholastic promise, so he was dropped out of school at the age of 15. However, he attended the Federal Polytechnic Academy in Zurich, and he excelled in mathematics and physics, and went on to do menial jobs. When his wife became pregnant, he took a job in the patent office. It was this job he developed the groundbreaking work in general relativity, E equal mc square. And most of us who have done basic physics would know some of his achievements. He went on to do Brownian motions and photoelectric effect, which earned him the Nobel Prize in 1921. Einstein was offered the presidency of Israel, which he declined. I'm saying this to say that whatever little opportunity, work assignment, privileges are inputs given to us, to you. It is for us to use our wisdom, creativity, dedication, and blending them with varying combinations through hard work to achieve our success. After all, history was not created by kings and queens, but by ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Welcome to RADA and welcome to this important event.
Chief Technical Director in the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, Mr. Mark Panton, Mr. Stephen Henriquez from Kingston Industrial Agency, who trained these persons in the walk behind tractor, Mrs. Lucille Bradbury, Project Manager, Maker Emergency Employment Program, JEEP, media representatives, so-called new employees, parish managers, zonal directors, distinguished RADA and Ministry of Agriculture representatives, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, a wonderful, pleasant good afternoon. Today marks an important milestone with RADA's contribution to Jamaica. This program that we're embarking on is important because we're strengthening our mandate at RADA and lifting our contribution to the production and growth of the agricultural sector. RADA is very pleased to support the JEEP initiative, and today we're rolling out several jobs covering several areas of RADA's operation. The Honourable Minister will speak to this in more detail. I wish to assure everyone gathered here today that this is only the beginning. Since over the next 3 months, May to June, we intend to add at least another 100 jobs within the agricultural sector, including working with the Social Development Commission in the inner cities to establish viable agricultural programs. In designing the jobs being presented today, we have had to be very creative and innovative. For example, we had, I think, about 16 walk-behind tractors that were just parked at the parish offices and elsewhere, given to us through ALBA and FAO. And what we decided to do is to train 26 persons who have the skills to operate these tractors island-wide, and who already, as the minister will announce, a large number of persons ready for the training. Because the large tractors can't operate on the hillside and some slopy lands or small parcels. So these tractors do serve a special purpose. The jobs we have created, we are confident that they will be sustainable. We have not gone to create jobs that will last for a week or two. We are creating jobs at the Bami factory that is ongoing, in our nurseries, in what we're doing here while you guys are here. And we expect that the persons employed will help lift the agricultural sector. As I said, special welcome to the 26 persons who have been trained in tractor service delivery. Your presence here today tells me that you're prepared to make an enviable contribution to the agricultural sector, and I applaud you. I wish you all the best, and I wish this program all the very best as RADA continues to make its contribution. Thank you very much.
Welcome, and thank you for having me here this afternoon. My job, and I have to call one name, as asked by Mr. Smith, Kidu, if I would do this training. So my job ended up being the force that got this training started. But I must also make note of my colleague, Mr. George White, who wasn't able to be with us today. He's on vacation. He also shared this equally with me. In fact, had a lot to do with the first group. Not sure we knew what to do when we started, but found very quickly a base to work from. I will speak of the graduates today specifically because The first group, a larger group, 17, I think of you, was a bit daunting. When the question was asked how many of you had actually operated these types of tractors, there was a deathly silence. But we could see an enthusiasm starting. The first part of the day was done more technical, in one sense, exploring the type of tractors and what it could do. And the second part of the day more in technical work. The second day was practical, and that's when we really saw what the graduates could do. We saw a different approach from the first day. Everybody was quiet, very introspective, wondering what was going to come next. But funnily enough, asking very, very pertinent questions, which we were able to answer. Day 2, and the practical was wonderful. It was like I'd say a baby with a new toy, right? Because it was, right? And they say so too. And it was wonderful how well they adjusted to functioning. We thought it might have taken a longer time and more effort, but I must say that maybe RADA's good fortune were able to choose gentlemen who were attentive and learned quickly. We put them in some pretty rough conditions. In the beginning, the machines held up extremely well in some very, very difficult conditions, and even with some rather rough treatment in the beginning until the gentlemen and the participants got to know how to use them. Then we saw what they could do. The second group, again more tentative, but again developed well. And I think that I feel comfortable anyway that the gentlemen who have graduated from this course not only understand how to use the machine, but to a great extent how to maintain it. And this is critical because we have seen over the years people get pieces of equipment, they have an idea. We talk about drivers and operators. I think I've trained operators, not just drivers. Okay? They know what they have to do. They know the principle of how they have to deal with field conditions, which is critical because of where they'll be working. And they also know what not to do to damage the unit. I really thank RADA for asking me to do this. It was a great pleasure, and I only want now to hear more phone calls from the operators asking me how best to do this or that as they progress forward, and go forward in their jobs. It is a critical piece of equipment for the small farmers of this country, and even some medium ones too, depending on where they're located. It is critical, and I'm so glad that RADA had the foresight to engage with FAO in our case to get these pieces of equipment, because I think that it's going to do wonderfully well for the country. Gone are the days of fork and hoe. Now we have tractors that can do that job better and faster. Thank you.
Honorable Minister Roger Clark, Mr. Peter Thompson, Messieurs Bevin Martin, Al Powell, Stephen Henry Keats, trainees, and other invited guests. I've been asked to say a few words here this morning, and it is very short notice, so I'm not as prepared as I would like to be, but I'm hoping that at least I can share just a few words with you. For me, it's a pleasure to be representing the Jamaica Emergency Employment Program unit at the Ministry of Transport and Works this morning and to be a part of this very special program. As you're aware, the Jamaica Emergency Employment Program is about employment opportunities and general job creation. And for me, this is really sort of the mandate of what we speak about when we speak about opportunities, job opportunities and employment creation, especially when it's a sort of a new area, because sometimes we're sitting down and say, what can we do? And there are so many opportunities out there, we just need to be directed in the right place. The Jamaica Emergency Employment Program has a secretariat at the Ministry of Transport and Works and Housing. So if you have any concerns or any problems about employment, persons that you know where to find us. We are a monitoring unit, therefore we don't implement projects on our own. We monitor units. The unit within different agencies and ministries. We ask these ministries to review their existing budgets, because we know that we're in a very tight fiscal space at this time, and we ask them to come up with new projects that can fit into their existing budgets, rescoping of existing projects. So there's nothing wrong if there's an existing program or project that is going on. There is nothing wrong. Continuity is something that we really appreciate and should really, if there's a good program, let us continue with it. And see how we can come up with some creative ways of making it more labor intensive. So that is really what it is all about, creating employment for young persons. And it's not only unskilled persons that we're looking at persons who are trained to but have not been able to find some area that they can find some employment in. This RADA job creation program that has seen 27 tractor drivers trained to operate handheld tractors is a type of project that the Jamaica Emergency Employment Program love to be a part of. One of the important elements of the G project is the training and certification, and we are hoping that at the end of the Jamaica Emergency Employment Program that the persons who do get jobs or get whatever it is that they are trained. Too often we have persons going in, learning how to build a curb wall, but don't understand why it is done in a certain way. So the training aspect and certification, so that at the end of the day, that there's some little piece of paper that somebody have that they can go and get a job elsewhere, is what is very important to us under this program. We are hoping that at the end of the program, we'll see a more qualified, competent workforce. These persons will be able to go into the workplace and represent themselves in a more confident manner. The operators here, I've been advised that you're now going to be businessmen. You're not just trained to work these units, you're now going to be businessmen, and it is something that you now have to take on very, very seriously. So it means, therefore, that you are not only now trained, you're now becoming a businessman, and you're going to be employing persons, and that is really very great. You can now decide on your own future. You can set your own lifestyle and your own where you would like to reach, because I'm sure eventually you will want to move on. You lease equipment today, you're going to be buying one tomorrow. And I really, I'm very, very glad to be a part of this function, and I'm going to say I wish you all the best.
Einstein's brother or cousin or whatever relationship there is, but seems you do have a very close relationship with Einstein. Dr. Mark Panton has left. The permanent secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, Mr. Donovan Stanbury, Mr. Al Powell, executive director of RADA, Mrs. Brodber, project manager for the Jamaica Emergency Employment Project, Mr. Stephen Henriquez of KIA. He sells me tractors, but he doesn't train me to operate them. Mrs. Dion Clark Harris of Cardi, Mr. Bernard Goff, other parish managers, RADA staff, Ministry of Agriculture staff, media, graduates, I understand, of the training program, the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I am very, very pleased to be here today to participate in this function where we are going to be presenting some 27 certificates to a stream of persons who are either new recruits to the sector or those who have decided to upgrade their training. And this is just a component of RADA's plan to make available some 1,200 jobs through participation in the agricultural sector. Job creation is the center of this government's trust. And the Prime Minister, even before we were elected, promised that she would make sure that a program is put in place to help rescue some of the unemployed people in the country. And they call it Jeep. You know, there have been many jokes about it. Some people are saying they have Prada and they have Audi and they have this and they have that. But this is a part of Jeep. 26, 27 young people who will now get an opportunity to get employment and be productive in some sort of way or the other. So far, through initiatives spearheaded by RADA, some 156 jobs have already been created, and 110 individuals have been employed through the European Banana Support Program, managed by RADA. Targeted interventions have been undertaken in crop production, apiculture, livestock, customer service, nursery operations, and cocoa resuscitation. In addition, the Bame factory at Twickenham, a RADA-operated entity, has employed 4 more persons. The Agrimart, again under RADA's control, created jobs for 2 persons. The women's group in Somerset St. Thomas, supported by RADA, were given equipment and requisite training in turn. They have employed 5 persons. RADA nurseries operating in the parishes of Manchester, St. James, St. Andrew, another 9 persons. And you know they say every little make a muckle. So wherever we can find one new job, it is important in the way we go forward. Ladies and gentlemen, the jobs are being created. We are getting our people into profitable ventures, and we are beefing up support to the subsectors that need assistance the most. As such, today's ceremony is just another attempt in fulfilling our commitment as a government to provide and create employment. We intend to keep the jobs coming. Seated here, you will see these 27 men, combination of young and not so young, but you don't have any old one in there. They are the production of the culmination of a 2-day, 16-hour training program geared at improving the knowledge base of our handheld tractor operations. I want to let you know that you are the cream of the crop, and as was said, you learn very quickly. It is for you to make sure that those pieces of equipment that have been put in your hands are well kept, because that is also very, very important. The cost of all these pieces of equipment is some 13 million, and therefore you must protect them. They were procured, as was said, through FAO, the Food and Agriculture Organization, and ALBA, the Bolivarian Alternative for the Americas project, and will complement the 15 rubber wheel tractors currently being operated island-wide by RADA. It is interesting to know that all awardees have been drawn from across the entire island, and I understand that their parish managers are here. At the ministry, we are not only about providing training, but we have made arrangements for the employment of these persons. Already we have a backlog of some 141 farmers and stakeholders who are awaiting the tractor services that you will deliver. This demand is expected to increase in short order through advertisements placed in the parish media, cable stations, and on community notice boards, as well as through RADA's text messaging service. I want to place on record my appreciation to Mr. Stephen Henriquez for the kind of dedication that was put into training you. I know who he is, and I understand how dedicated he is. And therefore, Mr. Henriquez, thank you very much. And if you have any free tractors to give, send them. No, why not Westmoreland? Send them anywhere you want to send them while it's for agricultural purposes. What is interesting, though, is that what we are seeing here today, that set of young people, and you know, you always hear young people, are not attracted to agriculture. So if this is one way of bringing them in, bring in more tractors, bring in more handheld tractors, and bring them in. And once they come in, we will hold them. I am sure that the farmers out there will be very appreciative of this kind of assistance, because we hear about hoe and fork and all this. We are lifting this to a higher level, and you are the ones who are going to be the ambassadors in this cause. We hope that this and other initiatives implemented by the ministry will assist us in increasing productivity and competitiveness of our local farmers. We know that there is a significant demand for the service, and we hope to fulfill this with the acquisition of these additions. As a government, we stand firm in doing whatever we can to improve the lives and lot of our farmers and the people of Jamaica. We stand by that commitment. And so, ladies and gentlemen, in closing, I must say again, I am extremely delighted to be here to identify with you in this project and to say to you that I wish you well in your new endeavors. I shall be watching you. Thank you, and God bless you.
Winston Warb, Portland. Leroy Casserly. St. Anne. Christopher McGregor, St. Andrew. Troy Coleman, Trelawney. Linton Goss, right? St. Elizabeth. Linton Goss. Khalil Brown, St. Thomas. And Charles Reed, St. James. That's it, Mr. Clark. I now ask the Keen Coke. Keen Coke from St. James. Sherlock Pinnock, St. Catherine. Rosemary Henry. Romaine, oh sorry. Pinnock. Romaine Henry. St. Mary. David Dillon, St. Mary. Everton Johnson, Clarendon. Titus, mine at the last one. St. Andrew. Corner. Anthony Campbell, Hanover. Devon. Devon Johnson, Westmoreland. Walter Murray, Westmoreland again. That's it. That's it. Darren Simpson from Clarendon. Third one? Three? A third one. Robert Richardson, St. Thomas.
Say something, you see. This gentleman, when he came, and I don't know if he was aware of the tractor, afraid of the tractor, but let me tell you something, he wouldn't quit until he got full control of what he had to do.
Sylvester Spencer from Clarendon.
I have to talk about this gentleman too because he was one who had some knowledge and what he shared with the other participants to assist them to learn and to understand the unit. That is the attitude and the
Morris Summers from Portland.